Running a small business means I wear lots of hats. When I put on my hiring hat, I can count on LinkedIn Hiring Pro to make it easy. LinkedIn Hiring Pro helps manage my hiring workflow, puts my job post in front of a unique network of professionals, and matches me with the best candidates for my business. I can also share my job with my network. No other job site lets me do that. No wonder most small businesses say they'd use LinkedIn Hiring Pro again. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Me and Tate Donovan took photos in this little photo booth, and we got a little strip of photos. And the rest of the filming, I had them on my nightstand. There was one night where I just was like, I really just wanted to cry. I was like, I feel like I don't know, the act of like doing all of those things made me like feel really close to Tate. And it made me also realize like, oh, I feel like did I write this so I could get those experiences I never had with my bio dad as a kid? Mm. And I know there's still plenty of time and I can still now make those things, but I'm pretty shy and reserved when it comes to my relationship with my bio dad. So for me, it's like I felt like I wrote it of all the things I wish I was brave enough to do, to like go and do all these father-daughter things, but like as like what you're 6 years old, you know?
Hey everyone, and welcome to DNA Surprises. I'm your host, Alexis Auersalt. We are still on a summer break, but I am so excited to share a bonus episode with you in the meantime. In this episode, I am joined by Lauren Castor, the writer, director, producer, and star of the new feature film, Rhythm is a Dancer. The film follows Ro, a young woman conceived through sperm donation, as she navigates questions of identity, family, and what it means to search for the person who helped create her. I talk with Lauren about the film, the themes it explores, and the experiences that inspired it. It's a story that will resonate with many in our community, and I am excited to share our conversation with you. The film, which also stars Tate Donovan and Amy Aquino, is available on demand wherever you stream films. Let's get into it. Lauren, welcome to DNA Surprises. So happy you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to meet you and talk with you today.
Can you tell us a little bit about the film and what inspired you to tell this story?
Yeah, I would love to. It's loosely based on my life. I was raised by a lesbian single mom who had me through a sperm donor who was anonymous. At the time, I don't think there was even an option to not be anonymous. It was legit a piece of paper with a bunch of lines. And in my 20s, I tried to find him. I had hired a genealogist and it kind of went nowhere. And there was a lot of dead ends, a lot of disappointments, and I kind of gave up. And then probably 5 or 7 years after I had started looking, out of nowhere, the sperm donor my mom used had done a DNA test. He did Ancestry.com and we were half a match. And so I found him and I got to meet him, and I was kind of grappling with what that means, and what that means for like my identity and who I am. I never grew up with a father, so I was kind of confused by this new stranger in my life, and who's genetically half of me. I'm still working with that, to be honest. Anyways, so I made a movie about it and a late coming of age at the same time because,
Yeah,
that way.
Absolutely. One of the things that really stood out to me right away was kind of at the beginning of the film and really throughout, Ro seems to be searching like in multiple ways, multiple parts of her life, career, relationships and overall identity. Was it important to you to show that the decision to look for her father kind of didn't happen in isolation and was sort of part of a broader search for herself?
Yeah, I think that was important to me. I loved that you noticed that she was searching in so many areas of her life. And when you're trying to put the puzzle pieces of your life and your identity and yourself together, you're looking for all of these aspects. And for me, I ultimately, which I don't want to give away the film, but for me, it was important. It was important that wasn't for this character, that wasn't going to be the thing that just like completes her.
Yeah.
We're like, we're always evolving and searching in our whole life. But when you do have this massive question mark in your life, or you're finding out about this, there's a lot to unpack. And I feel like you can definitely get lost in the thinking that if I just could make sense of this, I could make sense of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, we don't want to spoil too much, but there was kind of this sense of, I think it's even in the trailer a little bit, of ambivalence almost, of like, I'm not sure. I'm, kind of maybe curious. Do you think that Ro was more curious than she was willing to admit, or do you think that ambivalence was truly how she felt?
I think she was definitely more curious. I think that is all just a guard to protect yourself from disappointment and rejection. And because there's a lot of different paths from whether you're adopted or you're donor conceived or you're trying to find out this DNA. There's so many different ways it can go, and it's biologically who you are. And so to have that kind of possibility of being rejected is something that you want to protect yourself. And so that was also why I made her ambivalence, but she's really just covering for herself.
Yeah. I think kind of on the protective note, it seemed like there was this protective element with Ro's mother as well. Yeah. And a lot of the guests on the podcast have had a secret kept from them. And then they uncover a truth through taking a DNA test. In your film, the secret is actually more kept from Ro's mom. What did you want to explore with that choice? Because I thought it was really interesting, this idea of like maybe hiding something from our parents as we make our discoveries.
Yeah, I wanted to explore in that narrative because, yeah, like you said, it's usually a lot of the times it is the opposite. But kind of flipping it around, I think it would be interesting for parents who did keep that secret from their kids to see it flipped like that, because here's a mom who did this thing many years ago. She conceived a child through sperm donation. She did always tell her daughter, but then there's always the possibility of knowing that she would find the sperm donor, but then having that kept from her is, I wanted to explore that because I wanted it to be personal for Ro, and I wanted it to be her journey and her to finally have some like power there, some agency there. Because it was, regardless of when you find out, the way we're conceived, like we don't have a say in it. We don't have any like power or agency there. We're just born that way. And whether you find out. So it was important for me for her to have something in her life she could just have on her own.
Was that something that you drew from personally? Like, did you feel like you wanted to have that kind of relationship to yourself for any period of time?
Yeah. I mean, I unlike the movie, like for my personal story, like my mom did know, but for me, I'm still like navigating this relationship. Like the sperm donor, my bio dad, is in my life, and I'm still navigating what that looks like and what that means. I've also noticed too that you hear sperm donor. So for so long, the fertility industry has used the word donor, and it's For me, I knew the word donor my whole life. So by hearing donor instead of a biological father, someone who shares your DNA, you automatically are putting up a wall and you're making it this like abstract thing of someone who is just, doing a donation and, helping someone. But like, nature, like we share half our DNA. It's a lot deeper than that. I still have a really hard time. I can't call him dad or father. I call him by his first name. But I think that's because of the language that we have used for so long. And it's interesting because it gives donors the freedom to not have a bigger part of it, if that makes sense. It gives them the freedom to cut ties with the truth, which is like it's half of their DNA. It's their kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tricky because I'm so happy I'm born. I'm sure some people are so happy that they're here, but I'm really curious about the way the language is used around it.
Yeah. We're always talking about how language is powerful. Similarly, I found my bio dad when I was 35 through taking a test and finding out that my dad wasn't my dad. And I also found out that I'm half Black, and I did not know that.
Didn't know any of that.
Didn't know any of it. Wow. But I also I call him bio dad, or I will say like my father if people don't know the situation. And I usually refer to him by his first name. And it is interesting like how uncomfortable it can be to just say dad, right? Because it doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. But it is your dad.
100%. Yeah.
It's so... there's a line in the movie where she's like, he's my bio dad. He didn't raise me. So he's not we just shared DNA. I really wanted to come across of like how important that language is. Because that's how we feel. It's uncomfortable to say. I don't know if I'll ever be able to say. Yeah. I'm not sure. And that makes me kind of sad, to be honest. It makes me sad because I'm not sure I'm ever going to ever have a father-daughter relationship that's more conventional, I guess. Well, it would never be conventional, but just the feeling of it, just because I myself have put up these walls to protect myself, including the way I have heard it for 35 years is a donor. So I'm just removed from myself.
Yeah. I think there's also the challenge of just time, right? Like you were raised, you're a fully formed adult when you meet this person. And so how do they enter your life and parent you when you've been parented? Yeah.
You've been parented. Yeah.
No. Something I noticed throughout the film was these just little nuances or things that Ro would say where I was like, wow, only somebody who is in this kind of DNA surprise community would really get. And one of the first moments that I think people would understand, but it just resonates in a different way, was when she's looking at the photo of her biological father on her phone and trying to mirror his smile.
Yeah.
How much of the experiences that you wove in were just from your own life? Did you talk to other donor-conceived people or adoptees who maybe have gone through similar things? And was that infused throughout?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a mix of my own life and also hearing other stories of people being donor-conceived and adoptees. And I've even heard a lot from my genealogist who I had worked with, because there was two adoptees who had just found each other through this genealogist. But there's so much of me in this also, and so much of I always say it's semi-autobiographical, it is loosely based on my life, but it is fiction. But the meat of it, the heart of it, is 100% me. When I did get the phone call that he did a DNA test and we found him, there was one picture and it was his LinkedIn picture. And I looked it up and I was, for a while, was just trying to figure out our similarities. I was trying to see myself in him. It was really confusing. It's really confusing.
Yeah, they call it genetic mirroring. So it's that just trying to see yourself and feeling that connection.
Yeah.
My next question is around the way that you told kind of this fuller story. So a lot of, I think, adoption stories, donor conception stories, they end with reunion. And then that's it. And everyone kind of sails off into the sunset. And we don't really get to see what happens after that, which is often more complicated, even if it's positive. How did you decide, without maybe saying how it ends, where you wanted your story to end?
Well, for me, when I did finally meet my bio dad, I think what I mentioned it earlier, but I was really, I don't know, I honestly thought I would meet him, because I've heard other stories of people finally meeting, whether they're adopted or donor conceived, meeting a biological parent, and then they're like, everything just clicked and it was beautiful. And I understood who I was in my life, and wow, and I met him and I didn't feel any of that. And I was really confused. I was like, I thought I was going to experience this thing. And then I was still stuck with just myself. The same person I've been this whole time. And I didn't understand what that meant. And I found it really interesting, because I'm a filmmaker. I love movies. I love seeing ways that I relate to people and stories that aren't even mine. And I realized I've never ever seen a story like mine. And I know that there's a lot like this, where you're trying to navigate what this looks like and it's not what you thought it would be. And me and my bio dad, we both kind of went about it the same way. That was probably the biggest similarity. We both were like, well, kind of, step back and kind of see how it would play out, this relationship. So that was important for me in the story, to show in real time what that looks like. Somebody struggling to have a relationship with someone that they just met, that they're half related, and it's not clicking in sunshine.
Did your bio dad feel similarly? Was it a mutual, oh, this isn't what I thought it would be like?
No, I don't think so, actually, because he has 3 kids of his own. So he has a daughter and he has 2 boys. He's able to call me his daughter, which is very sweet. It's different for me because I don't know that relationship of a father. I know the relationship with my mom and my aunts and my uncles, but I don't know what that relationship is. But he has been very, I will say, understanding and aware of how we're slowly navigating this. It's been really interesting.
Yeah. It really helps when a parent is empathetic to the situation, even if they don't fully understand it. You mentioned that you now have 3 half siblings or siblings. And Ro also discovers siblings. Have you found any other siblings through donor conception?
I haven't. Every now and then I go on to the DNA sites to see if anyone pops up. I am registered in the donor sibling registry. I've always been registered on there. I haven't found any other offspring. I'm so curious, just because I feel like it would be, I don't know, my siblings that I've met from him are great. I'm just even now we've been in each other's lives for almost for 8 years. We're just now getting close, because they were in high school. They were young when I met them. I'm older than them by a lot. So now that they're all they're now 18 to 22. So now that they're all a little older, we're now starting to actually have sibling bonds, which is really special and unique for me. I'm an only child. I would be so curious if there is another offspring, because we'd be in a similar boat, similar boat of figuring that out. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. I don't know if they're out there, but maybe one day. Yeah.
One of the things that really struck me about the film is that it really is telling a story. It's not about whether donor conception is good or bad, which a lot of media around donor conception kind of has that lens. Why was it important to you to tell a story that maybe invites empathy for donor conceived people, but really everybody involved?
Yeah, I just wanted to share my truth of how I feel about it and my journey. And I know there's a million different ways donor conception can go. I fully understand that, and with adoption as well. But for me, it was important to not make like a statement on it, but just to share my experience and for people to be able to find their truth in that, or to whether they see their truth in that or see some similarities, but not to like make a statement on it. I went to one donor conceived meetup actually. When I first found him, and most of the group had just found out, and that like broke my heart. I understood like how lucky I am that I have known my whole life, and now it's important to me too with this film. And now it's coming out into the world and I'm sharing it with people. So many people are coming up to me and being like, I'm an egg donor. Like I just found out I'm donor conceived. All these people that in my life that I would probably never know. And I tell them, look, it's not right or wrong. Like it's amazing how you're able to bring a kid, and yeah, you'll have to navigate stuff when they're older, I'm sure, but love them and be honest and tell them. That's the best thing you could do for them. They'll still have, identity things like later in life, but I'm so thankful that I got that experience. So I guess that's kind of my main message.
Yeah. What surprised you about making this film? Was there anything that you learned about yourself or the donor conception space that you didn't expect? Yeah,
a few things surprised me. Was one, a crew member in the middle of shooting shared after we filmed the first scene with the biodad. He shared with me afterwards. He was like, wow, that was really interesting for me because I just found out I'm donor conceived, and he has 14 half siblings, and their donor doesn't want anything to do with them, but he has a mom and dad. And I saw him last night at the screening, and it's so lovely to be able to talk and have these conversations. And that someone else came up to me too that was part of the crew that is adopted and was like, I find so much similarity in this. Like it is very universal in the world of being adopted, donor conceived, whether you find out or not, because the core is really all those things. Whether you find out, like me, I've always known, or later in life, you're still going to have the same things come up of like, what does this mean? How does this, I don't know what this looks like. Another thing that really surprised me was when there's a scene, if you remember the Santa Monica Pier scenes, where she's doing all these things with her biodad that she wished she could have done as a kid.
Yeah.
Me and Tate Donovan took photos in this little photo booth, and we got a little strip of photos. And the rest of the filming, I had them on my nightstand. There was one night where I just was like, I really just wanted to cry. I was like, I feel like, I don't know, the act of like doing all of those things made me like feel really close to Tate. And it made me also realize like, oh, I feel like did I write this so I could get those experiences I never had with my biodad as a kid?
Mm.
And I know there's still plenty of time and I can still now make those things, but I'm pretty shy and reserved when it comes to my relationship with my biodad. So it was, for me, it's like I felt like I wrote it of all the things I wish I was brave enough to do, to like go and do all these father-daughter things, but like as like, but you're 6 years old,
Yeah.
So that was a really big surprise for me. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
That's really special. Oh, that's resonating so much with me. We like, so I have kids, and when my biodad came out to visit, because he lives in Alabama, I'm in Arizona, we went to like Dave and Buster's or something like that. And like he and I were standing next to each other, like shooting basketball. And I kind of had like that same moment of oh, I never got to do this with him and I'm doing it now. And it is very emotional, like surprisingly emotional.
Yeah, I was really surprised on how emotional that was. I have kids also, and what's also very surprising too is my kids are like, will know him as their grandfather.
Yeah.
They'll not really know anything else, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I met him before I had kids. I have 2 kids now.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. That's
so,
really cool.
Yeah, really, really interesting.
Yeah. What has his reception kind of been to the film and your mom as well? What has been the reaction?
So this is also a crazy part is me and him make this film together.
Oh, wow.
So he's the executive producer on it. So yeah, maybe we haven't gone and played skee ball together or had like an ice cream date, but like we've gotten into business together, and it's been really cool to make this with him. And he's a big part of why it got made. Like he totally believed in me. I was a filmmaker making a bunch of short films, and someone had told me I had just won like an award for one of my films. And it was someone at like Sundance who was like, I can't wait to see the feature you direct. And I was like, I didn't even think me, like this whole thing. Like, no, that's crazy. And I happened to tell him, and he was like, oh, well, yeah, we should do it. I was like, he's like, yeah, he never made a movie before.
That's
Neither of us
amazing.
never made a feature before, but he helped raise the money. We went around. It took, the whole process took probably over 5 years. It took a while. I had made a short film, I will say, which was kind of ended up working like a proof of concept, even though it was never planned to be a proof of concept. My first short film is called Donor Baby. That one's on Amazon. That one's like it's not as evolved as the feature because you can't do as much in a short, but it's basically just about the moment of getting that phone call that you have a biodad out there, and what does that, and what that brings up. So it's like, a much shorter version.
That's really cool. Wow, that's so awesome that he is so supportive of this.
And my mom is super supportive too. I will say that. It is fictional. There has to be some stakes. So I try and tell people that because I don't want to hurt her feelings because she's the best.
Right. Yeah.
I love her so much. I'm so thankful she did this 35 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. If someone who is donor conceived or someone who's just experienced an unexpected DNA discovery watches this film, what do you hope that they take away from it?
I hope they take away that they're not alone and that they belong. I'm like, I don't want to cry here, but I think that's the one of the biggest messages I hope people who are donor conceived or adopted can get from this. I think coming into the world more unconventionally, for me, I always felt a little bit of like a black sheep, and then there was a lot of spaces maybe I didn't belong in, just because I was different. There's a lot of things I didn't know, and that I even now I'm honestly just still trying to figure out about myself. And that's another big part of why I wanted to make this, because I know, there's over 1 million donor-conceived people in the U.S., and they don't even have really the numbers because it's not really regulated. So that it could be more for sure. And we do belong, and we are special, and we're amazing, and the way we were brought into this world doesn't change any of that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. What do you hope that parents, donors, families who maybe haven't even lived this experience come away with?
Yeah, that's a great question. When we brought Tate on, when we wanted him to play the part, and he read the script, that was one of the first things he told me. He said, wow, I had never even knew about someone, like what that experience was like of being donor conceived. And he feels like he does now, which is beautiful. And I think that is what I would want someone's takeaway to be, just the nuances of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So often, I think in the fertility industry, adoption, even just maybe parenthood broadly, people think about the baby like that's the end. But really, you become a fully formed person with questions about who you are. And this film just does such a great job of exploring that in a very human and real way. Of course, there's some of the Hollywood magic with some of the plot points. Like you said, it's inspired by your life, but not fully.
Exactly.
But it really does just a wonderful job of showing this experience. So if listeners want to find the film and watch it, where can they find it?
Well, we just opened in theaters in LA July 8th. So it'll be playing in LA until I think the 16th. And then we open in New York July 16th and July 17th at the Roxy in Tribeca. And then August 4th, we will be on all platforms digitally. Apple, Amazon, I think Fandango, anywhere you can get it, it will be on there. So you'll be able to watch it from your home. And I'm so excited for the world to be able to know more about what it's the journey of being donor conceived and what that means.
Awesome. We'll be sure to link it when it goes live for everybody to watch. We'll link your website as well in the show notes. Lauren, thank you so much for joining me to talk about Rhythm as a Dancer. It really is such a beautiful film. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I so am honored to be on here, so I appreciate it.
Thanks again to Lauren for joining me. Be sure to check out Rhythm is a Dancer wherever you stream films or on rhythmisadancer.movie. Until next time. DNA Surprises is hosted, produced, and edited by me, Alexis Auersalt. It is mixed and mastered by Josh Auersalt of Siren Recording Studios.